Emotional intelligence is the capability to recognize your own emotions and those of others and letting it guide your thinking and behavior. We already talked about emotional intelligence in the workplace, but today we'll be focusing on the home front and the family. And Ugo Fidel is back with us to do justice to this very important topic. She is a life coach and CEO of Tamari Rescue Foundation, which is about teaching young girls to avoid sexual abuse and rape. Thank you for joining us so much this morning. So we talked about the office already, and we'll probably, hopefully, be able to touch on one or two issues affecting the office, but want to focus on the home. Maybe we should have started from there because it's from the home that you eventually go out. The relationship between husband and wife, the relationship between parents and children, how do you describe, or where do you start from when it comes to emotional intelligence in the home?
Okay, we'll start from the part one of emotional intelligence, which is self-awareness. Because like I said the other time, the king makes the kingdom. It is who you are that you bring into your world and recreate it. So you have to, first of all, understand yourself, know your strengths and weaknesses, because these two will play out eventually in your home. So if you realize that, okay, I'm struggling with anger, I am quick to temper, or when I get angry, I can't manage myself, you already know that weakness. So you start work so that when issues come up in the home, you will not allow that weakness to intercept your relationship with either your spouse or your children. Because if you allow that, it's going to affect and sour the relationship. Before you know it, people start breeding bitterness and resentment. So it starts, first of all, with the first one, which is self-awareness. And you also must realize your strength, because it is on your strength that you leverage on. For instance, if your strength is kindness, you can be sure that you are going to create a kind world. And you leverage on that, knowing that, okay, this is my selling point. But if you are confused about yourself, you are lost, then you become like jellyfish who flows with the waves of the water. When pressure comes, when there are issues, you won't know how to handle it.
So how do you start this process of self-awareness? How do you begin to discover yourself even before you start relating with other people?
You have to expose yourself to training or mentorship. Because in that process, if you expose yourself to training, for instance, we train on emotional intelligence. We train core members. We're in partnership with Lagos State and NYSC Lagos State and Ondo State. We train core members on emotional intelligence. They call it a soft skill. It is in the process of that training that they are able to discover themselves, because a lot of them think, okay, I've graduated from school. I'm ready with my first class to hit the market world, and I will get the best of jobs, only to realize, oh, wait a minute. I have first class, but I can't manage my emotion. I have first class, but I struggle with fear.
And it's the same thing with marriage. You know, some people feel that I've attained the age, marriageable age, so I need to get married.
I'm in love with a girl, I'm in love with a man, so what's the next thing? Marry. If you get married like that, you are going to make a mess of the marriage. And we can see that marriages people are making a mess of marriages, and families are breaking down because the two individuals involved in that marriage relationship are lost. They do not understand themselves. And because you don't understand yourself, you will lack the capacity to manage yourself. And once you can't manage yourself, you can't relate with another person. You can't manage another person. It is in managing self-leadership. Effective self-leadership starts from self-leadership. You have to, first of all, lead yourself before you can lead another person. If you can't lead yourself, you can't successfully lead a nation. You can't lead yourself, you can't successfully enjoy marriage or build a strong family unit. For instance, I'm coming from a broken home because the two people that got married could not manage their anger. And so they were always fighting. There was always friction. And that friction and that resentment and anger were transferred to the children. I grew up not knowing myself. I grew up confused about life. I grew up with anger and bitterness towards the parents, towards God, who brought me into that family. And then I got lost.
So
totally
how did
lost.
you now resolve this and, you know, begin to create a connection with other people?
I would say that God loves me so much. First of all, I connected to God, who now helped me to connect to a man I married. So my husband is my mentor. When issues will come up, I remember one time we had issues. Yeah, we had issues and I lost it. I was struggling with anger. I jerked this huge man. I said, we are going to fight here. We'll die here, two of us. And his eyes, he was, who is this? I said, your wife. You married me and you are not owing my father. So totally, I'm your wife. He was so scared. He ran out of the house. And that's when I heard a voice. I said, like mother, like daughter, you are going to make a mess of this marriage. I had to calm down. What is the problem? So I realized my problem was anger. Not being able to manage anger, saying terrible things with my mouth in the heat of anger, doing terrible things that I will regret in the heat of anger. And when he came back, he said, let's talk. This is not how to behave. You have to learn to manage yourself. And I had to bend down to look inwards. Okay, what are the causes? What actually made my parents' marriage to fail? I began to see a replica of their attitude in me.
So there was
and
a
I decided,
lot of introspection.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
First of all, you have the first step of self-awareness is self-realization. It is questioning yourself, asking questions. Who am I? Why do I behave the way I behave? Why is it that I react this way when this happens? When you begin to ask questions, you begin to do self-study. You pay attention to your actions. You pay attention to your reactions. You pay attention to your words. Because they are affecting other people and the environment around you. Now, from self-study, that's when you begin to realize, oh, when they shout at me in public, this is what happens. Oh, when I'm hungry, this is what happens. Some people are angry when they are hungry.
Yes, that happens a lot with men especially.
Even with women.
Yes.
Oh, when I'm stressed, I'm angry. Oh, when this happens, I'm this. That's when you begin to realize all this. And now you begin to take time to deal with them. God will not do everything for us. God gives us the capacity. But you have to take the step. I had to painfully take the step to work on my temperament.
So really, at the end of the day, it's almost like when you're talking about emotional intelligence in the home, it's really about working on yourself.
It's about yourself.
It's about you and not even about other people.
Yes.
You know, so you deal with yourself first before you then deal with other people.
Exactly, because you see couples say, my husband is this. Oh, my wife is this. I wish my wife is like this. I wish my husband is about you. If you can train yourself to manage yourself, it's easier. In fact, when you enter into the process of self-training, you are actually developing your mind. And a developed mind has the capacity to perceive things accurately. If I perceive that you are friendly, my reaction and my responses to you, the way I will relate with you will be different. But if I perceive you are an enemy, the way I'm going to relate with you will be totally different. So right perception will stir up right action. And right action will eventually bring right results. Wow.
You're truly a family life coach. I mean, this is part 2 of Emotional Intelligence. We hope that we can do part 3, really talking about these issues. We've talked about your strengths and weaknesses and also self-realization. Hopefully, we're going to take a few of these other things, maybe next week or the week after, and really bring this whole thing to a resolution because we have not concluded yet. Thank you so much
Thank you
for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.